Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Emmanuel is back again with another video. This one is going to be quite a quick one because Canon just released the new camera yesterday, or two new cameras yesterday. They've released the Canon R1 and the Canon R5 Mark II. And I don't know if, like, I'm very torn a little bit because I started my career with Canon, or at least the point where I got to shooting weddings and photographs people and photograph graduation and like events and portrait and studio work was with Canon, and some of my work still with Canon as much as I shoot a lot more with Fuji. But I just feel like Canon has missed an opportunity again with these cameras because I feel like they haven't announced anything for your consumers, because a lot of the YouTubers and people that are using cameras nowadays are not necessarily your professionals, and these cameras are very much aimed at professionals. The R5 Mark I already was a very professional level camera, and the R3 that came before the R1 was already kind of a professional level camera because of the speed and everything and like that. I'm gonna give it to them. They've put like new sensor on in there. They are faster. They have a new autofocus system, high resolution. But also on one side, this camera's release just feels like a software upgrade. I don't know. They are very expensive cameras, and you have, yeah, you still have like a mechanical shutter that's really good. That's something I also really enjoy. And they just added a little bit more features on these cameras, and I don't feel like hardware wise nothing really in terms of photography, at least. I don't think like the image quality has changed a lot. I mean, there is no increase, let's say, at a very reasonable or a very different percentage. So you can still take an R5 photo and pretty much compare it to the R5 Mark II photos, and that maybe where I feel like Canon has missed an opportunity. They could have come out with a banger and really something that will leave the industry talking. I feel like this camera is just a software upgrade, and I don't know, I'm not being harsh on Canon here. I love the brand. I saw some of those pictures, that some of those things that were shot with those cameras yesterday, and some of the reviews that the people that had the opportunity to hold the camera and use it as well, they put out there, they are beautiful. I do like the increase in ISO performance, especially with the R5 Mark II, because it feels like it feels different from what we had with the R5. But generally, people don't shoot at those really high ISO of 25,600. So that also feel like a missed opportunity. I feel like Canon should have really revamped the hardware with those hard files, because they feel more like a software update, as I said. But I like that they've put a finally they've put a full-size HDMI on the R5 Mark II, because they used to have those tiny HDMI. That's something I really never appreciated from Canon, and it feels weird to say it's like in 2024 a camera manufacturer that targeting hybrid shooter to put a full-size HDMI, where even which brand is this? Fuji has put in a full-size HDMI on the XH20, XS2, and XS2S, XH2S. So yeah, I'm really kind of torn apart about this camera. I wouldn't mind trying one. I might actually. This is a camera where I'll still feel like I need to maybe wait a little longer for Canon maybe to release like a APS-C sensor. I'm an APS-C sucker. I love my APS-C size camera because they're very small and tiny. I think the R5, it's something I would consider as well, because I'm actually thinking about getting a full frame body size alongside my Fuji's, just maybe for more demanding situation and scenario, because when I'm doing weddings, that is something that I think would kind of allow me to do a bit more with the camera than what I have at the moment, because I feel like with the APS-C sensor, I'm just limited a little bit. And speaking about being limited a little bit, Canon has increased the R1 megapixel count from 20 from the R3 to 24 megapixel. And I'm looking at the competition. I'm looking at, let's say, Nikon, who has released the Z8 and the Z9, and if the R1 is to be competing with those two cameras, at least the Z9, I feel like Canon should have put at least 33 megapixel on the camera. I did like the 5D Mark IV, because I think like 33 megapixel is just the sweet spots with when it comes to megapixel for all these cameras. To be honest, I think 32 megapixel. Canon should have put it over there in terms of megapixel. I don't know why Canon hasn't increased the megapixel count on those two cameras. Maybe it was difficult to engineer, or but I think as a company that brought a lot of innovation, I feel like they are kind of retracting. I don't know, maybe very hard to catch up on other company and on what other companies are doing. I am wondering how and why Canon isn't able to do that. I'm wondering how and why Canon isn't able to do that, and I am a little bit perplexed when it comes to the future. I know Canon is still going to be there. And one thing that I think that Canon neglected, as I say, was the consumer market. I think they went for the prosumer pro level market with the new release of these two new cameras. I guess it's because maybe the Olympics are around the corner. But let's say something like this. I've been talking about Canon releasing maybe an update on the G5, G7 series, these pocket cameras. This is really what Canon should have focused on. This is for my fam now. I think Canon should have focused on this type of camera, because this type of camera is just easy money maker. And I don't know how many cameras they will sell, how many of these they will sell, because if you're coming from the R5 Mark I to the R5 Mark II, is there a substantial upgrade? No, because the megapixel is the same. If you're coming from the R3 to the R1, is there a substantial upgrade? Not really, because it's just like that's not even like a 20% increase in terms of megapixel. It's about 15% increase in terms of megapixel. The autofocus, as much as there are new features when it comes to the autofocus, but I think there won't be that much difference. Yeah, maybe you have that new autofocus where it locks on this person that you have registered. You have 10 person you can register on the autofocus. But I don't see a substantial upgrade from these two cameras. This feels more like not even a hardware upgrade, but a software upgrade, as I said. So C-Log 3, good. Video quality, good. Overheating, that still has to be decided and still has to be tested by people who have the camera, because they still have warnings of overheating on these cameras, especially on the R5 Mark II with the 8K video. The R1 can shoot up to 6K videos, and yeah, I think all camera nowadays should at least shoot 4K 120. I think the R5 shoots 4K 120, and they also have better in-body stabilization, as they've said, about 8 stop plus of in-body stabilization. So that's good, and that still has to be tested, because not a lot of people got the camera. I think strategically they really try to just push the narrative that of having new camera with better specs. But for me personally, after watching more than 10 hours of reviews, I feel like this feels more like a software upgrade than really a hardware upgrade from Canon. Let's see, maybe with more software upgrade, because there are still pre-production copies that people were testing. If the camera will live up and maybe be the camera that will be like a sort of flagship, as they've announced it, because it's been like 4 years since the 5.2, the R5 Mark I, and I feel like this was supposed to be the R5 Mark I, because the R5 Mark I still has kind of a lot of things that's got to be upgraded as time went on. So is this a missed opportunity from Canon? Only time will tell, to be honest, but I feel like they could have come out with a banger and really reclaim their places as the first or the pioneer when it comes to innovation. And Canon is just missing up that innovation anymore. They're not innovating anymore. It feels like they are catching up. And I feel bad about it, because I love that brand. I'm not gonna lie. The colors that comes out of Canons are some of the easiest one to work from. Fuji is good. It's very aesthetic. It's very personalized, and it has all that retro feel and everything. It has good color now, I have to be honest. Compared to the older one, the Fuji Downs are a little bit easier to work with in terms of video and even in terms of photo sometimes. But Canon has that magic Canon color that people always talk about, and that's what I think brings a lot of people back to it. And I'm so used to Canon color, especially when I do my photography, and even on most of my videos are shot on Canon glasses, so, and on Canon cameras as well. So I just feel like Canon could have really come out with a banger here and just be like, hey, yeah, this is us back again with like a banger of a camera. Is it a missed opportunity? Only time will tell, to be honest. Only time will tell. We'll see how much the sales figures are looking like. I don't, unfortunately, foresee it selling a lot of units compared to maybe like Sony that is in a lot of market segments, because Sony is one of the company brand, and I think Sony does have the manufacturing and the factory behind it, because they do manufacture a lot of the sensors. I think Canon also does manufacture a lot of the sensors, but it just feels like Sony is leaps and bounds ahead of Canon when it comes to sensor technology, because the rate at which they release new camera and the speed at which they do release new camera is just frightening. And I think a company manufacturer can't really catch up. Nikon has made a pretty nice move in acquiring Red, and that just will put them like in a very comfortable position. And now we have Canon that's playing catch up. Panasonic also doing quite some good thing with the new Lumix S line, especially the S5 Mark II with the new autofocus and all those stuff. So Lumix had to catch up a lot in terms of software. They had the hardware, but they had to catch up a lot in terms of software. It always feels like it's easier to catch up when the software is there, because hardware is something about, it's always easier to catch up in terms of software if the hardware is there. It's just a matter of software updates. These two camera releases from Canon feels like 80% of a software update and 20% of a hardware update, because they are very minimal changes from the previous model. The R1 feels like an R3 Mark II, and then the R5 Mark II was supposed to be the R5 Mark 1.2, maybe that's what's supposed to be coming out, a name like that. So this is just my take on this, and let me know what you guys think, because I am really a Canon lover. As much as I say I'm very harsh on Canon, the only reason I'm this harsh on Canon is because I want the brand to go back to what they used to give customer. You know, Canon used to be like a pioneer of innovation, and that's what I really want to live again. You know, that's what I want. When I go pick up a camera, it used to cater for so many customer segments, but it feels like right now, for example, with these two release, we're waiting for maybe an R6 Mark II, and I open the R6 Mark II, they can put a 33 megapixel sensor, because that will just compete very well with any other camera manufacturer. That would literally just place them in a very sweet spot, and they can release maybe an R7 Mark II as well. The R7 is already a good camera, but I feel like in terms of video feature, it just lacks a little bit. They need to cater for hybrid shooter, because people that generally are using their cameras to shoot photos, they also shoot videos, and I feel like Canon is not catering in that regard. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me, guys. What do you guys think about the new camera release from Canon? Do you think you fit that market as well? If you are a small YouTuber, a big YouTuber, if you're a professional, I think professional would definitely find themselves there. But photographer who are professional photographer rarely use camera to take videos. But yeah, that's just my two takes and my input on this. Tell me, guys, what do you guys think about this, and how do you got to find about Canon? And then yeah, do you enjoy the brand still so far? Are you planning on moving? Let me hear you guys in the comment below, and yeah, just flat that comment. Please do not forget to subscribe, and as I said, I've really been trying to push as much content as possible on the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video, and peace out.